In the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. The second meditation is a very important to note because this is all about us as the sinner being called. And so to start with is this. We are all sinners moving towards God. If one of you here says you do not have sin, then you better now pack up, because this retreat is only for sinners. So, what therefore matters is no longer therefore just because we are sinners. So the idea now here, what matters here is the movement. Are we moving towards God? Many times the sinner is moving, but not towards God. And so, we have to make a movement that truly has a direction of God, that truly has a movement towards God. In one of the letters of St. Paul, in the letter of St. Paul to the Philippians, he would say, I strain forward. I do not look what is behind. What is important for him is to possess Jesus Christ, because God has already possessed me in Jesus Christ in salvation. But then we still have to journey. God did His journey to us. Now is our time to journey to Him. And so the journey of the sinner being called must be with sincerity, must be with the willingness to change, must be with the disarming oneself, must be commitment. That is why we had to put that introduction, because otherwise we will not be able to understand this journey of the sinner. So I would like to pay attention, that we pay attention 7 points. Very concrete. These are 7 concrete points. The first point is our habits. You see, as human beings, as sinners, being called to God, we have habits. And habits are repeated actions. If they are repeated good actions, habit, they become virtues. What if they are bad actions and they are repeated? Bad actions become bad habit, and bad habit becomes a vice. When it becomes a vice, then you drift away from God. When it is a virtue, then you move towards God. That is why, for the sinner, going to the Father must pay attention. What is, let us ask ourselves now, you yourself, personally, this is personal, what are your habits? Are your habits bringing you to God? The watching TV, what kind of the TV? The reading of books, what kind of books? The habit, do I pray? No. What is my daily routine? Routine is also habit. And so that's why if we do not take care of our habits, the habits can either pull us away from God, or it can pull us toward Him. And we cannot escape that. And many times we are complacent in trying to see the habits. And yet it is very basic. No wonder we are sinners, because many times our repeated actions are not godly. Second, our personal view of things, our personal view of ourselves. You see, in the journey towards God, is whole heart, whole. Nothing is to be hidden for you. And so, many times our own view can become the hindrance to go back to God, because, we say, that's your view. My view is different. I don't see it wrong. You may say it wrong, but I don't. So what happens? The sinner lags behind. Why? Because he's imprisoned not only in his sin, but also in the foolishness of the way he sees himself. The truth is this: nobody owns a perfect view. Repeat it. Nobody owns a perfect view. Nobody's perfect view of oneself. Nobody has a perfect view of the things. Always partial. Who owns the perfect view? Him. And that is why good people many times stagnate because they think that they are already going forward. But actually, they're still lagging behind because their mindset is still the same. The view is different. Blind spot. In every view, there is always a blind spot. Put it into your mind. Do you really know who you really are? Ask yourself, do I really know myself? Totally? No. Especially, there are many things that I know. There are also many things I do not know. There are many things I really already have a hint of what I do not know, but I don't want to talk about it. We are like that. Do you want to talk, for example, that your kili-kili is mabaho? You don't want. These are examples. We know, but we don't want to talk. That's a blind spot. And to the Lord, He has the perfect view. He knows already. But many times we don't. This becomes a hindrance to the journey of the sinner going back to God because of the view of things and the view of oneself. Our view of ourselves is not enough. There is always a blind spot. And that is why we need the Word of God to tell us. We need the teachings of the Mother Church to tell us. We need the words of advice of good friends. I underline the word good because not all friends are good. Good friends tell you your blind spot. Bad friends will just dance with you. Good friends will dance with you tango. Because yung tango mayroon pa. We do not have a perfect view. We do not own the totality of knowledge of oneself or of the world. We need others. We need Jesus to tell us. We need the Holy Spirit. We need good friends. We need purification. And that is why purification, where can we find it? We go to the Creator. Because He knows us. Can a robot fix itself? Yes. The computer, sometimes it just, okay, you reboot, and then it reboots.
Okay.
But then there is virus. And then it's an enemy. Who will fix it? The Creator. But we are more than a computer. But if a computer has that, needs the Creator, how much more us? We need God. And we need God, and we go to Him devoutly. We go to Him with commitment. Return to the Lord with your whole heart. The third point, in the going back to God, the sinner being called many times has a challenge of the quagmire of repeated sin. I use again the word quagmire. Why? Because it is precisely a pull. The hesitancy, the being unsure, the trying to go already, but you cannot give the whole of it. All or nothing. You know, why do we want to live longer? It's because we are afraid. Why? Because we have the quagmire of sinfulness. We have many repeated sins. We have to get out of the mud. And so now, ask yourself, what are my repeated sins? What are your repeated sins? Simple as that. Ask yourself. And believe me, also, of the idea of the blind spot. Many times, what you are doing already is sinful, and yet you don't consider it a sin. And yet, precisely because you don't consider it sin, you keep on falling and falling into it. And that's why the journey of the sinner being called becomes dragging. It's dragging. It's not good. The fourth, the influence of our associations with people and principles. The influence of our association, of our relationships. Let us begin by saying, in life, only to Jesus, we must have the personal and principle association. This is two. Person and principle. Jesus is the one that will fulfill my person. And that's why I have to be connected to His person. Jesus will fulfill all of my longings and my desires and my dreams. That's why His principles, His teachings are also to be associated into my life. They have to define my behavior and my life. Jesus is the only one we should have association to. Father, how about family? Yes. The family is associated with each other by person and principle. Why? Because the parents, by person, connected to you by person. Also by principle, because the parents gave you their own principles. They taught you values, discipline, isn't it? That's why we're related. Now, second level, if a family is Christian family, therefore deeper is the association of person and principle. You are more connected because a Christian family will teach the godly things, and the children learn godly ways from their parents as well as example. Then they go deep into to understand what honor and respect is about. And so they love their parents because of their love of God. They respect the siblings, each other, because of their love of God. Because God is part already there. That's the deeper meaning. Person and principle. Now, wider context. To us, if you are associated to me as person, you'll be in wrong company because I am also a sinner. So practically, you do not associate with me as Father Jopel as person. You relate to me and you consider me as relatable to you because of your knowledge of Jesus Christ, who called me to become a priest. So practically, you don't relate to me and you should not. You relate to me, you associate to me because, first and foremost, of Him. If the Him is lost, then that's where the sinner many times commit mistakes in association. About principle, you don't listen to me because I am Father Jopel and I am doctor in theology, etc. No. You listen to me because what I am saying is what He said. And many times again, here comes the sinner being called, again has problem because he associates with the principle or principles of people who are not principles of the Lord Jesus Christ. Concretization. Celebrities. In our time and context, we associate We associate ourselves, our mannerisms, maybe some of our ideas from some celebrities or from some famous people. But then, that principle is coherent with the principle of Jesus Christ. That person that you want to be associated with, that person will bring you to Jesus Christ. That's always the question, of many times there we fall into error. The sanctification of friendships. Many times, yes, we are friends because we are good, because we are of the same, so to say, wavelength of thinking, of activities, etc. But there are friendships, as we all know, that influences us to have a mindset that doesn't follow the principles of Jesus Christ. And again, there is a blind spot. I know it's okay because he's my friend. Wrong. If you're a good friend, then we will have to talk it out. Maybe we have to correct this. And when it is not corrected, then you journey and journey. Yes, you are moving in the journey, but not towards God, but actually away from God. Associations, very important to take note. We are all being called to the Lord. The point here is this: the likability of the person. I like you because you bring me to Christ. I like you because your principles of life is what my principles are. We reflect each other. But then sometimes we are associated with a person with the likability of something in ourselves as well that should not be there. When we are associated, always know this. Is the association bring me closer to Jesus or away from Jesus? In person or in principle? Otherwise, if we are sinner going back to God, then the journey is not yet wholehearted. He is good because he is my friend, but your friend is not doing what is right. So, what are you going to do about that? If I am a good friend, then don't worry, I will go and talk. And that's precisely what ministry is about. Because the ministry, the support group, becomes a group that entails to live both in person and in principle what belongs to Jesus Christ. We correct what is to be corrected, we say what is wrong, and help each other to smile together. Jesus is the only person we are connected to. We can have different affiliations. It's okay. We're still friends. But be careful whom you are associating with. Tayong lahat ay may pananagutan sa isa't isa. May pananagutan. Lord, I am doing my pananagutan now to you. I hope you also do your pananagutan to me. Number 5. Seek advice. Do not tolerate with what is obviously wrong in oneself. If the sinner has accepted that he is a sinner, then he should not enjoy the sin. Right? So, what is obviously wrong, ask advice. You know what is wrong, and you live what is wrong. Ask advice. And that is why it is important, just as I have been repeating, it's important not to travel alone. We travel with friends. We travel with a ministry. This is ministry. We travel together. That is why seek advice. Do not tolerate what is obviously wrong, the best way in talking is in the sacrament of confession or in the spiritual direction. That is the two ways. Or you talk to a best friend that you can confide with. And the best friend, if he is good, he will not tell what is being told. Do not tell, I told you what he told me. Ang tayo mga Pilipino, naku, chismoso. Sinabi ng huwag, ganun pa magsabi. Seek advice. So be surrounded with good friends. Be associated with good people that will lead you to Jesus Christ. And the sixth, devotion is to imitation. Devotion must lead to the imitation on whom you are devoted to. We have devotion to Jesus Christ. I must imitate Jesus Christ. We have devotion to Blessed Mother Mary. Then I have to be like Mama Mary. Devotion must lead to imitation. If the devotion doesn't lead to imitation, that devotion is empty. Why? Because the service becomes a show of oneself. And that is why it is always good to correct oneself. Where am I? Why am I behaving like this? Why are my mentality like this? What are the topics that kind of make me uneasy? If you knew sincerely what are these things, and then you try to correct them, then your devotion is going into imitation, because your behavior is changing, your mindset is changing, your life is truly becoming the life Jesus is expecting you to become. This Lenten season, Jesus asks us, come back to me with your whole heart. Whole heart. And that is why it is all or nothing. It is towards imitation of Him. Let us ask the saints whom we are devoted to. Let us ask the Blessed Mother Mary in her different titles we are devoted to. May we imitate the principles that devotion is teaching us in order to seek the person Jesus Christ. The seventh and the last. Devotion to faith brings to confession. Confession of faith and confession of sins. So the journey of the sinner being called ends up in the confession of sin. You already accepted you are a sinner. Until you go to confession, you remain in sin. Father, I went already to God directly. Are you sure you receive forgiveness? Well, you know, deep in my heart, the Lord I accepted as my Lord and Savior. Okay, but it is not the way Catholic Christians believe. So, you have to correct yourself. Why? Because that's not the way we think. There is a sacrament for that. Why did Jesus instituted the sacrament kung hindi lang pala tayo pupunta doon? If we only actually say, well, practically, hindi kailangan ang sacrament of confession kasi I can go back to the Lord directly. He instituted the sacrament of confession because precisely it is needed and it is necessary. The journey, therefore, of our devotion to faith, of being sinner, we devote to faith, we profess our faith, Lord, yes, you called me with all my heart. I am going with all my heart. And coupled with that profession of the faith is my confession of my sins. Come back to me with your whole heart. Whole heart. Nothing is hidden in the heart. Nothing is hidden. After all, you cannot hide from God. externally and internally, everything is transparent to God. Ask yourselves many questions now about who you are. In conclusion, our journey to God as sinners, being called, is a journey of constant and consistent awareness of who we are, whom we are walking with, what are we bringing, where we are actually going. There must be a constant and consistent awareness of these elements. Who we are. I am a sinner. What am I bringing? My sins. Whom am I journeying with? My associations. Am I being a good friend that I can correct and be corrected? And then, am I really knowing where am I going to? I am going to Christ. This is the journey of the sinner called. Are you in that journey? Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.